Let yourself breathe into the bosom of the present moment. Allow yourself to blossom without hesitation and thus before description. It is in this permission and birth that we embody all of who we are, that we dip and bathe in the ocean of which we live from and are daily born from. It is up to us to remember and remind ourselves of all that we possess in this eternal second, in this eternal moment and birth. To not get too weighed down and anchored by the weight of definition and judgment. To allow ourselves to move and flow and be birthed from the ocean of which we are in the eternal moment. In this way we are revealed to ourselves, inspired from ourselves, are encouraged and stirred from within into a free and liberated expression, which is true to the fullness of whom we are. Thus our words in service to us, to our oceanic possibility. No longer are we weighed down with judgment, label and description of whom we are, but speak in words from an embodiment of whom we are that is indescribable and full and eternal. In this way we relate to ourselves, are in relationship with ourselves intimately to our oceanic possibility before we thus speak outwardly. In this way we are light and naked and present with ourselves in the present moment before we thus speak. In this way, when we do speak, our words are full as we are full. In this way we soar and fly as we are no longer anchored into the depths with the weight of judgment, of description, of definition and labels. We are able to experience ourselves and the present moment beyond just definition and judgment, but through embodiment, relationship and presence, and thus acceptance of the ocean of which we are, and at which we are, if permitted, burst from in revelation, inspiration, encouragement, guidance, beauty and wisdom. This is the daily invitation we are called to, though subtly, though intimately, though before description can have its way, have its vocal way. We are invited into the ocean of what we are in the present moment, to allow ourselves to breathe into the present moment, to flow, to move, to experience the death and rebirth that is available to us when we are not anchored by the weight of judgments and definitions and descriptions, which are so weighty and full with a prideful confidence of certainty. For the antidote to this is subtlety, suppleness, lightness, nakedness, authenticity and truth. In this way we are light enough to move in the waters of life, and thus act from this, speak from this. Thus are our words equally as light and inspirational and filled with truth. For we speak from whom we are in our totality. We speak from a truth embodied in a naked presence, where we are eternally clothed with the truth of our existence that is both felt within and in our hearts. This is the aspiration that our soul and being yearns for. that thrives in, that soars from, that radiates from. For we are free to exercise our liberty in a felt expression of a naked authenticity. This is where our truth is thus divined. This is where we find ourselves in the oceanic promise of the present moment. So this indeed is an invitation to reconnect before we speak, to unclothe our pridefulness before we are drowned in our certainties, before we dismiss a subtle possibility within with the weight of judgment. May we instead recline in suppleness and softness and grace in the present moment to embody all of whom we are, so that we may then be able to blossom and grow into mountains and truthful expression. This is the gesture I extend to you, to unclothe yourselves of the certainties that emerge, to release the tempting anchor and weight of judgment, whose certainty would keep you rigid and still, and to instead explore your waters, and indeed the waters of life, to embody all who you are before description. And in this embodiment and relationship, intimacy and truth, may you then act and speak from that height and depth and authenticity. This gesture I leave with you for your own exploration, joy and release. Until next time, bye.